thing called Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy. And were you all at Divya's talk earlier? So she talked a lot about sort of the mindfulness and the meditation and the importance of that for brain health. And you're going to get a lot of information today about those types of things, the ways that we can stay healthy. And when I was talking with Susan Ryder about what she wanted me to present here, we decided that because of all the information that's coming from the outside, there's also this part that sometimes gets forgotten, which is all the information we already know on the inside. And so what we decided was to actually have a practice today, okay? So let this be more of a practice rather than a lot of information, okay? In order to do that, the way that I decided to design this was that I'm going to talk for a little bit, okay, give you a little understanding as to what you're going to be doing and why you're doing it, and then let you actually have a practice, okay? Let you actually experience this work so that you can start finding whatever the information is within you in order to then take that out to what's happening outside of here. And then after that, you get to talk a little bit, all right? So that's how it's going to be. So for that to happen, it means I have to do my short little soft sell, okay, at the beginning because I don't want to talk about it at the end. So I actually have a hands-on experiential workshop a little bit longer coming up on June 7th. And so if you're curious about the work, you want to know more about it and how I do it in private, what that looks like, or maybe you're a practitioner and you want to know how this might look as a training, come to the workshop. Usually I charge for it, but if you sign up on my sign-in sheets over there today or at the table outside, you can come for free. Okay, that's my cell today. But you have to make sure that you sign in a way that I can actually read your email. Because I'll send you an email about where to go and all, and if you get nothing, it means I couldn't read it and you better contact me. Okay, you get that all the time. Okay, so there's my cell. So what are we doing today? So I said the word Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy, and I know, talking to people all the time, they start saying, well, this is how I do yoga, right? Anyone here do yoga? So what's it look like when you do yoga? What do you do? What does that mean to you? Yeah.
Well, I do multiple kinds of yoga. And so I do hatha yoga and vinyasa and restorative yoga. Okay. So they all look different.
Yes, they all look different. But you have this teacher in front and you maybe go through these postures and And what do you find from it? What do you get out of it?
Well, I think, it's life-saving and changing for me. I don't feel that I would do well in my life without it because not only physically is it helpful to me as someone, as we're aging and becoming stiff and sore, it keeps me limber, it helps with my balance, it makes me physically feel good, but mentally it has a huge impact. It brings me a lot of peace.
Great. Great. Anyone else also kind of doing your yoga and finding that? And for those, has anyone thought of doing yoga and haven't gotten there? Yeah. And what would you like to get out of that if you were to go and do yoga?
Just to reiterate some of the things that she said, better balance and less stiffness and pain, and some mental well-being, some mental energy.
Right. Great. Great. So yoga, I don't know if you can see this very well. This is Bikram. Have you all heard of Bikram yoga? He's the guy who started all the hot yoga. Now I'm from Seattle. Going into a hot yoga class is great. Down here this week, not so good. And he's the first to say, yoga has sort of become this thing where you go in and you want to get flexible, right, and a little better balance, or maybe strength, or, all those things. And it's become this real physical fitness thing, right? The asanas, the postures, and all. And Bikram is the first to say his practice that he brought over, that it has become so popular, is a physical practice. But as you notice, there's this other thing that happens, that brain health that Divya was talking about, right? And so Yoga is actually a practice of union, a practice of yoga. What does yoga mean? Yoga is a Sanskrit term meaning to yoke, to bring together, right? Union. Sometimes yoga and union is used interchangeably, okay? And so what are the parts of us that we might, well, let me just say, so are we going to do yoga today? Well, in a sense we are. You're going to do some form of posture, but guess what? You're already in a posture. So don't move. Notice your posture. Notice your posture. So some of you might be kind of a little bit like this, you know, a little closed in, a little protected. Thank you. You know, little protected. Some of you are sort of open, a little more open. Oh yeah, I know this. I'm okay with this and stuff. And you can notice yourself in that posture. You can notice, oh, here's what, you know, maybe I'm really open. I'm feeling really good right now. But inside, I'm kind of like a little bit like, oh, it's kind of new. Not too sure about this, right? But I'm going to have this persona, this outer part of me. So, so we aren't going to do the kind of yoga where you put your foot behind your head, which we were talking about earlier. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm doing anyways, right? And yes, we are doing yoga. In Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy, this is a form of self-study. We use the body. We will use posture just as you could as you're sitting there right now. There will be some breath and meditation in that. And what are the parts of us that could come into union? What are the parts? So I just spoke of one. There's this outer part. Here's how I'm sitting, right? And then there's this inner part, inner and outer, right? There's perhaps the masculine part and the feminine part of us. We each have those. We have the masculine, the part that sort of needs to stay on task. I'm very much in my masculine right now because I need to make sure that we complete this by what time? Noon, of course. Okay, so now I know my masculine's like, phew, got it? But my feminine was very much engaged when I was actually creating this, right? My feminine was looking at the bigger picture, not really sure who I was going to have here, and so how could I support and serve those people who showed up? Then my feminine gets to be there. So go ahead. So Tom Horvath is here, and this is a quote from his book, Sex, Drugs, Gambling, Chocolate. So he's speaking today. I love the name of that book. Any book that starts with sex and ends with chocolate is. But he talks about this conflict, something that I call polar pairs, the feminine, masculine, right? The inner, outer. Conflict is the stuff in daily life. In addiction, specifically, a conflict may occur between substance-induced euphoria and health, right? And recognizing and examining is the first step to managing it and then letting it negotiate. Okay, so each part is there. How do they negotiate with each other? I just really love that. So it's not like I'm wanting my masculine and feminine to be balanced.
Oh, no.
You can't live balanced, right? Because we actually live our life out of balance. And so how do I work with, pay attention to, and let the two parts of me show up, okay, in an appropriate time? And so to do that, we're going to use 3 elements. Go one more. We're going to use the elements of awareness, acceptance, and action. Okay, my triple A's: awareness, acceptance, and action. So you started at the first one with that awareness, right? The awareness of your posture, your body. And so there's awareness of body. Your thoughts, your mind. Okay, well, here's what's really happening. Your emotions, maybe I'm a little nervous about being here, or whatever. Okay, so awareness comes first. And acceptance then. Acceptance. So that negotiating that Tom sort of spoke about. The stress is wanting things to be different than what they are. Like we had the fires this week, you know. We did not want that to happen. And if you fight against it, and the more you fight against the idea that that happened, the more stress you're going to be in. Ease is simply wanting things to be, or accepting things just as they are, okay? Accepting as they are. And then action, being in action, it's one thing to do the work here, but you don't live here. You can't live with me here. We can't always be, you know, in this level of awareness. So what are you going to do when you get outside the doors here? So, like, the fire happened. And I heard a lot of people say, I want to get those guys. They got a couple of guys in custody right now for arson and stuff. And I'm hearing people, I want to get those guys. And it's like, yeah, that's the reaction. But how supportive is that really for you right now? So there's this thing that happened, the fires happened. And then it's like, you know, I'm really angry, I'm pissed, I want to get at someone. Yeah, there's my mind doing its thing. I'm scared, you know, it's triggering some kind of my own trauma and stuff. And oh, I've got to worry about my parents, my dad, who's on oxygen. And, you know, does he have to evacuate? Okay, I have to pay attention to that. And then there's the response. Then you can make a considered choice when you give yourself a little bit of space between what happened, all the awareness, the acceptance, and then you can come into action rather than reaction, or response rather than reaction, okay? So how are we going to do this? Go back one. Yeah. So you'll notice that Phoenix Rising Yoga therapy, there's this therapy on the side. And so our work includes Carl Rogers. Is anyone a mental health practitioner? Noah Penn. Okay. So Carl Rogers was this wonderful therapist who believed that everything that we need to know in order to heal and enhance our lives is already within us. It's already within us. And that as therapists or teachers or coaches or human beings, it's our job to, with as much unconditional positive regard, that was his words, unconditional positive regard, watch what's inside and allow what's inside to be here without needing to fix it, change it, figure it out, even agree with it. Okay? So he says, experience is for me the highest authority. It is to experience that I will return again and again to find a closer approximation to truth as it is in becoming in me. So it is to experience that I will have you turn again and again today in order to find a closer approximation to your truth as it is in becoming. You all know what you need to know. It's already within you. That's a Rogerian sort of way of being. Okay? So go ahead and flip. We'll stand. Now, go back. So I'm not going to show you how or anything like that. Those are the other slides. And know that I have slides on the handouts and stuff, and you can pick them up later. It's like, yeah. Or now. Did you already grab one? Oh, okay.
Where are they?
Don't worry about it.
I'll
Oh,
put
she's
them
got
on the
it
table
there.
on the way out.
Yeah, on the way in. That's there, and the whole thing on the workshop's there. Okay. So what I'd like you to do, if everything is truly within you, then I'm going to have you turn to you. Okay? There's nothing here that I can teach you. All I'm going to do is simply facilitate an experience for you to get to know that where you are right now. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is notice where you're sitting and choose, do you feel like you're a little too close to someone? Do you feel like you'd want to go sit someplace else in the corner? You want to be on the floor? Go for it.